Hello and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network for a brand new edition of the Tuesday Swoop. I'm your host, Cameron Anderson, alongside my analysts, Garrison Glenn, Blake Molina, and Zay Randolph. We are here today to talk a little bit NFL free agency or the tampering day period, everything that's gone on the last 24 hours and a little bit longer than that. And then into an NBA playoff picture and awards coming up soon as we get to the home stretch of the NBA season.
Yes, sir.
So first off, let's start out with some NFL conversation. A lot of moves have been made in the last 24 hours. And this sort of all spurred off of the Panthers going up and getting the number one pick in this year's draft as they traded the main man, DJ Moore, to the Bears. So a big receiver for the Bears. Let's start off with that and the implications in that trade.
I love the trade. I think they finally were able to get my man Justin Fields a good weapon. I'm not going to say he's like an insanely great wide receiver, but I think he's a good number one. I think he can definitely take them places in terms of their offensive power. And they also have Claypool and they also have Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
So I think with those three wide receivers, it'll give Justin Fields a little less work, or him having to carry the load of being that main guy, because it seemed like every other week we would see a 99-yard run from him. So I do like that move.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. The receiver, DJ Moore, is a big upgrade with Claypool and Mooney. I mean, he slots in as the number one, and he's a fence number one receiver. I'd put him in that number two category, but he's not far off. I think the bigger move though is they still have all their cap space. I believe they're top. Before the signings, they had the most, and then just the assets they got with jumping back. I mean, they're still picking in the top 10 future assets. They got a second round pick. I mean, they can move up and down the draft. They could, they see a player, hear something about somebody, trade those picks. They're setting up Justin Fields nice for the next couple of years. And that receiving core, even with that tight end, Colt Kmet is going to be, I think, pretty solid, and they're going to be a threat in the NFC North that I don't think, even in the NFC, that nobody was really expecting. I don't expect them to do big things, but they're going to make some noise this year. And, I mean, if they just kind of figure out the running back situation, that offense is pretty scary.
I actually like the running back situation. I think they got a real nice 1-2 combo between what's their names again?
Well, I only say that because I didn't know until the list, but Montgomery's a free agent.
Oh, Montgomery's a free agent?
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I was doing the research.
I didn't know that either. That's wild.
Well, what pick did they swap to? The 7 or is it 9? 8?
Yeah, it was 8.
It's right before the top 10.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've heard from Daniel Jeremiah and some other scouting experts that have been looking at the draft that this draft is really deep for running backs.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams, you see all these third round draft picks that turn to studs at running back. Isaiah Pacheco went undrafted and he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was good.
So
key piece of their offense.
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah. And there's plenty of those names, so.
Yeah, right. But back to the trade. Of course, I like the trade. Whenever you can surround your quarterback with another weapon, that always helps. But I'm really intrigued to see what they can do with the ball and how they move, because last year they ran the ball a lot, whether it was with the quarterback or running backs, and even a couple of receivers. Again, Claypool got a couple, and Mooney got a couple runs. So I really want to see what the OC is going to do with all these weapons, and you got a hell of a quarterback. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, they also just made a move today for Tremaine Edmonds, which was a big move.
Which is
He's a
huge.
6'5" middle linebacker who's still pretty young.
25, right?
Yeah, I think he's 25 years old.
25.
His brother,
Wow.
Terrell Edmonds?
Yes.
Yes, another brother in the league. And I think this is a great move for them defensively. I think they just need to build up that O-line and maybe D-line. And, they got something going, especially they found their quarterback.
Yeah,
Justin Fields is
Justin Fields
a transcendent talent, and they're going to be their guy. So
Yeah.
the fact that it seems like they figured out, all right, we have a quarterback, now it's time to just go get all these other pieces, and they're off to a great start, in my opinion.
I agree.
They're going to get younger. They're going to get a lot of assets, like you said. So I think the Bears are on the uptick right now. And that NFC North is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's wide
with
open.
the Lions playing well last year, surprising
Vikings were
some.
building.
The Vikings were good until the playoffs.
And the Pretenders?
Oh, they were pretending all right.
The fraudulence.
Yeah.
But
Worst 13-3 team of all time.
I don't know. Green Bay's in there somewhere too.
Oh yeah, they're up there, but
Yeah.
disappointing. But yeah, I agree. I think the NFC North is wide open, and it wouldn't shock me if the Bears took that. Came out the number one. Lions we talked about kind of off camera. Don't sleep on them, and Green Bay is.
Well, going into Green Bay, obviously the man of the talk now is Aaron Rodgers, as there's some leaks, some supporting to him going to the Jets. It seems like everybody's expecting him to go to New York.
Right.
What are you guys' thoughts on this?
With Aaron Rodgers, I feel like anywhere he goes, it's going to be hard because Aaron Rodgers is the type of quarterback that can get you there, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it now. But then again, him on the Jets would be nice because I like the weapons, and then the defense is very, very solid.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got Allen Lazard, which is one of Aaron Rodgers' right-hand man. So and he was on the list of receivers that he wanted to go to the Jets. So that kind of leads me to believe that the Jets are probably going to sign him. And from what I've heard, that it's all but done. Like there's certain things that have to go into signing that we don't know about just yet. But I think Aaron Rodgers can be pretty solid with the Jets.
Kind of the same thing, like you said. I agree. I think he can get you there, but is he going to get you there?
Exactly.
That's the big question. And for me too, like the Jets were that team where even without the add-ons, they were a quarterback away. Lazard definitely bulks up that receiving core a little more. Not like crazy or anything, but Breece Hall coming back and stuff. I mean, they were just missing the quarterback. My only thing is with the Aaron Rodgers situation. What exactly are the Jets giving up to get him? Is it going to be a massive haul? Is it going to be, I don't know, just one first-round pick? Will it be, will some players be involved? That's the big thing, but I don't think, depending on what they give up, I think that's a good fit for Rodgers other than staying in Green Bay with all the turmoil. So nothing against the move at all. It just depends what the Jets give up at the end of the day for him. That'll really kind of decide whether it's a good trade or not, and, of course, if he can get the job done.
Also, I need to know where he is mentally. Because he's been holding Green Bay hostage for the past few years, whether or not he's going to retire. And me personally, I can't stand that because it's like, because he got a bag from him anyway.
Oh yeah.
So now, do the Jets want that type of problem? Because who's to say he won't do the same thing in Green Bay or the same thing that he did in Green Bay in New York?
Well, he kind of already is. I mean, he had the wish list of receivers, and Allen Lazard was on that, and they could still go get if they really wanted to OBJ, and he was also interested in longtime tight end Mercedes Lewis. I mean, those are doable signings. I mean, I don't think that's really impossible. I mean, OBJ, depending on how much playing time he gets and if he'll really fit into that core, but I mean, they could go sign Mercedes Lewis right now.
Right, and I did see Odell requested like at least $20 million, I think, from. That's what his contract's looking at. Is he wants at least $20 million. So he's won a bag, but he's also saying that he wants to play for a contender. So it's like, you might have to pick one. So it should be interesting and very interesting. Rodgers is following a similar path to his
predecessor.
Exactly, his predecessor, Mr. Brett Favre, who went to the Jets for a year. And, well, if it turns out the same, he might be a Minnesota Viking.
Oh, I don't want that. You can stay in New York. No thanks. I'm good.
Man, I lose my mind.
I'm good. I'm losing my mind, too. How do you think I'll feel? Yeah. Taking my license plate off my car for at least that year. Can't do it.
You probably should anyway.
Shambles.
I think this is a big opportunity for the Jets because really I think they are a quarterback away. They really missed on Zach Wilson. Obviously, I think Zach Wilson is a bust.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I don't think he was the right guy for the Jets. He doesn't seem to have that it factor, that leadership, that maturity, that leadership.
Yeah.
Especially in New York, you can get eaten up in that media if you're not coming prepared. Then it could get ugly. So I'd be interested if they do get Rodgers, or if they don't get Rodgers, what they do in the draft. I won't be surprised if they draft someone in the second or third round, or we'll see.
Kind of a deep quarterback draft, not super deep, but I mean,
a little
there's
top
some
heavy,
talent.
but it's top heavy. But there's definitely some talent that you could find.
A couple sleepers second between round 2 and round 4. There's been a couple, but yeah. I'm interested to see what that turns out. My thing, I'm just more interested in. It sounds like Rodgers to the Jets is pretty much done. I mean, for me, the Allen Lazard signing kind of was the nail in the coffin. Yeah. I'm just interested, like, what the Jets gave up and what the Packers are getting back. Like, that's what I'm most interested in is the compensation.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not much for Aaron Rodgers right now, just because I think there's a lot of. I mean,
I mean, he's almost 40. I think he
I
is
think Green Bay
40,
just wants to
right?
get him out of there.
I was gonna say.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the problem is that Green Bay sort of doesn't have a lot of leverage in this because everybody knows they want to get out of. They want him out of Green Bay.
Right.
Jordan Love's coming up. They want him to be the
Yeah.
next guy.
Yeah.
So they kind of played their hand, and now it's like, well, we probably don't need to get much back for Rodgers because I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a second or third round pick.
I can see it first. I don't think it's impossible, but
It's not impossible.
But
yeah.
I would say at the least. I mean, I wouldn't if they got anything lower than the third. Like, yikes! But I think Jordan Love's ready though. I think it's once Rodgers goes, it's his time, and I think he's gonna be good for that team. It might take a little bit, but I think in the future he can be nice.
He's gonna need some weapons, but a young Christian
definitely.
Watson coming up.
I
That
like
could
him
be
a lot.
Christian Watson could be a stud.
I like him.
So moving on to some other moves, specifically between the Niners and the Raiders. So the Niners signed a defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave, from the Philadelphia Eagles. Just another defensive lineman who had double-digit sacks for the Eagles. 1 of 5, I think, or 4.
11 sacks, 16 QB hits.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's a beast. He's 30 years old. The Niners signed him to a 4-year deal, I believe.
84 mil.
84 mil. So he's making pretty good money, but I think this is big for the Niners just to bulk up that D line. Every year they're gonna have a consistently good D line, and this just helps them out. And I mean, we've seen it pay off every year. That D line really goes like they carry the Niners defense in a big way, along with the linebacker core that has come along very well.
Yeah,
But
that linebacker core, I think that was a moneymaker last year.
Right.
You guys' defense. That was
I
the
think
bread
you're
and
right.
butter.
Yep.
With the Niners, the problem for the Niners is the quarterback situation. I feel like that leaves a lot to be desired for me because, we don't know who we have. I mean, we've seen Brock Purdy play, but he's obviously injured. And
We got Sam Darnold, so.
And we have Sam Darnold,
We're
and
good.
we have Trey Lance. It's just the question remains, can they get it done? And
Right.
I believe that they can, regardless of whoever it is. I think they can with the quarterback room that they have. And they have all the tools. They've been knocking on the door of a Super Bowl for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, dude, they're right there.
Yeah, speaking of the quarterbacks, some quarterbacks got paid. Geno Smith, well-deserved
Yep.
3-year, $75 million deal.
Deserved
That
it.
might be
Well deserved.
steal of the free agency. We'll
Yeah. He's
have to
making
really
less
go
money
back.
than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, no kidding. Daniel Jones getting paid. That's
It's a lot.
That's
I
a lot
disagree
of
with all
money.
that.
I
That's
didn't.
a lot of money
I wouldn't
for
have given him
steal.
anything close to that, but that's
I
just
like it.
me.
I like it. He
I
gets
think-
the job done and he wins.
I was gonna say he did have a great season. Would I take Daniel Jones over? I would take Daniel Jones over Geno Smith in terms of starting a franchise.
If
But-
Geno had done this 10 years ago,
Right, that's the thing. Is Geno's
Absolutely,
older.
I'm taking
Daniel
Geno
Jones
Smith.
is still what, like 25?
25, 26.
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
that.
he's young. He's
still
young. So, and he's going to
definitely
be the
still young.
franchise. So,
I think also too when I kind of said this. I don't want to say I predicted this, but I was talking about this a lot for fit. Derek Carr going to the Saints. I felt like that just made
You did,
sense.
right.
So I thought that was, it is what it is. We'll see how that really works. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr fan, but as in terms of fits, for me that was the best fit. Maybe the Jets, but
that division's wide open too. The
Yeah.
NFC South is god
Yeah.
awful. So.
Tampa Bay's
Yep.
eviscerated. We don't really know what kind of rebuild the Panthers are going through, and the Falcons are unfortunately just the Falcons. Yeah,
they haven't recovered since the Super Bowl.
exactly. I couldn't agree more with that. And
And
then
actually, speaking of Matt Ryan, just got cut by the Colts. I think,
he got cut.
like an hour ago.
But I think I would say so far probably the biggest QB move. I mean, I don't know if it was like a surprise, but Jimmy G going to the Raiders, 3 years, just about $67.5 million. That'll be interesting because I think he's a step above Carr, but not a big difference. And he's playing with McDaniels, his old coach. They brought in Jacoby Myers to give him some friendly help. Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow are still there. Unfortunately, your star tight end isn't there, as he got traded to the Giants earlier today for a third-round pick, which is pick 100 in this draft, which
Yeah, that was so bizarre.
bizarre, and I don't think enough compensation.
No, not at all. Darren Waller for a third-round pick is
No.
disrespectful.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's
a
very
second round
disrespectful.
Yeah,
advance.
I mean, this
Or
guy.
worse.
The problem is obviously has been health for Darren Waller because he
Yes.
hasn't been able to stay on the field. But when he's healthy, he's
Yeah.
top 5, top 3 tight end in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah, and tight ends can kind of hang around a little longer too. They're like receivers where they have longer lives.
Right.
I mean, he's 31 and he's owed he's owed money for the next like 3 seasons. But I mean, I can see at least 2 more good years and maybe even more. I mean, it just depends on how he is with the Giants. But that was probably the most bizarre trade I saw. But I think the Raider offense will be interesting. Josh Jacobs came back on the franchise tag.
Yep.
We don't really know what's going to happen with Devontae Adams. I'm sure he'll stay there, but I think Jimmy's in
Are you
okay
sure,
company.
though? I don't think he's staying there.
I don't really know. I don't think he is, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't. It's one of those situations because I agree. I don't think he is. Derek Carr's gone, and I mean, Rodgers didn't end up there. I mean, why would you stay there?
I don't know, but what direction the Raiders would be going though if they went and got Jimmy G, who's a veteran quarterback who's going to help you win, and then you just go trade away one of the best
Devontae
receivers.
That's what I was asking. Like, where are
Yeah.
y'all going with
Yeah.
this?
I still don't know where they're going.
It's
Because
just
Yeah.
a messy direction.
I think Derek Carr is head and shoulders better than Jimmy G.
Oh,
I-
no.
I don't know. I think it's tough because Jimmy G has a winning history.
I mean, that's true. He's a winner, and that's
Yeah.
why I gotta respect him, and that's why I like him. But
Don't-
when we talk about Derek Carr, he's gonna throw good balls.
But how many years can you rock with Derek Carr and not make the playoffs?
It's
That's
just
what I'm
about his
saying.
his decision making. I don't think that's there. That's where I think the drop off is between him and Jimmy G. I like Jimmy G's decision making, but at the same time, I don't think he has the arm strength. I don't think he has the speed, or I don't think he has like the confidence inside the pocket when Ding is crushing for him to be that man. I've never
And
seen
he's
it.
shown that multiple times on the biggest stages that he can't handle.
Exactly.
That type of
I've
pressure.
never seen it. So I
That's
don't
where I agree
really
with
see
you
the
on that.
drop off. I don't really see the direction the Raiders are going with that trade.
So I agree.
That move.
I agree with the arm. I think Derek Carr does have the better arm. That was a very good point. The only reason I'm giving it to Jimmy G because he's literally just a step above. It's not anything
But what does
crazy.
he do better?
I just think
I
for
feel like
me,
decision making, that's it. But at the same time,
Yeah.
he's played with incredible coaches.
No, that is a good point. And decision making, but he's, and it's not all him. I'm not going to give him all the credit because the Niners have had good defenses for a while. But, I mean, he's gotten to the bowl, and Derek Carr, can either barely make the playoffs or he don't do nothing. So you got to look at it from that aspect
But then we
as
talk
well.
we talk about the Niners, right? And it's kind of been the same story for the last 24 months. Stacked offense, stacked defense. But what about the quarterback situation?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in theory, he was in a perfect situation.
But,
Jimmy
I mean,
Garoppolo.
so
100%.
going off that.
Until he got hurt, I mean, you could argue that they were going in the right direction, but I don't really see it. I don't see him being that guy. He was already in a great situation.
So going off that, let's swap real quick. So we'll go back 24 months, like you said. Let's swap out Jimmy G and put Derek Carr in that situation. What do you think happens?
I think the 49ers might be Super Bowl champions right now.
Oh, I definitely don't think that. I can't. I mean, I
I
can
say
see him
they-
going to the bowl. I don't.
I say that they.
no,
I
don't
say
know
that
about
they
They might
beat
be.
the Rams. In 2 years ago, I say they beat the Rams. They could have beaten the Bengals. I don't know because it's kind of hard to gauge because we're basing what we've seen off with Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo on their own teams. It's kind of hard to try and switch those two and then say, okay, this one's better. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, feeds off of the team that he's with. Same with Derek Carr. So, I think he's more of a product of his receivers and just the team in general. Then I don't know. I just feel like Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the guy to get it done. And I think Derek Carr has a little bit more of a higher ceiling. I'm not saying it's by much, but I think I have a little more faith in Derek Carr than I do with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I would agree. I think Jimmy G has a higher floor but a lower ceiling because
Right.
I think Derek Carr's more talented. He's a more talented quarterback. He can throw the ball down the field. He can hit more passes than I think Jimmy can. Where Jimmy's sort of just right down the middle. He's not going to throw it outside of the numbers.
Exactly.
Which is interesting how that fit is going to work with Devontae Adams because this is a guy who is going to be running down the field. This isn't a slant route guy.
This is a
isn't
deep threat.
This is a deep threat receiver and one of the best in the game. And yeah, it's an interesting trade. Obviously, when you trade for someone like Jimmy G, you're getting him because of his winning pedigree. He's done it. He's been in the playoffs.
Yeah,
although
the
he
veteran
hasn't won.
aspect.
Although he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Although he didn't make it past the NFC Championship against the Rams. He's played really well in big moments.
Yeah.
And I think that gets overlooked upon by his really bad moments.
I agree.
But
That was well said. Yeah.
I still think it's an interesting trade. The thing is, the veteran quarterback market is just not great this year. So,
Oh, I agree.
and the Raiders already had to move on from Derek Carr based off last year with him not starting at the end of the year. You could know there was turmoil and he was going to be gone, and he knew it too. Even at the Pro Bowl,
Yeah,
that was awkward. But
that was the writing on the wall. So
Yeah.
if we can stick on the trades for a sec, I'm going to switch the sides of the ball, though. That Jalen Ramsey trade to Miami for a third-round pick and tight end Hunter Long, I thought was a steal for Miami. Even if they would have given up the second, I still think that's a steal.
Mm-hmm.
And then earlier today, because I know my dad I heard my dad scream about it. He was happy. Stephon Gilmore going to Dallas for a 5th-round pick was. Yeah, I know you're happy too. That was robbery too. I mean, there's been some very interesting kind of trades. I mean, I'd say more one-sided, but very interesting to say the least.
The Ramsey trade I like the best because Ramsey was my favorite player on the Rams.
Yeah.
I just love his game. He can affect the defensive side of the ball in so many different ways. He'll tackle you. He'll go 1v1 on you against you. I know he'll get beat at sometimes, but he's definitely a top 5 corner in the game, maybe top 3. Just you can go back and forth.
He's top 3 for me.
But adding him to Miami, I think, is a huge plus. They're already a stacked team on the offensive side of the ball, and for him to be on the defensive side of the ball, doing what he does and being who he is, I'm like, man, it looks good.
Him guarding Tyreek Hill in practice.
Man, I would love to watch those
those
practices would be insane.
Hey, you know what though? That's gonna
It's gonna make both of them better.
I was just trying to say it's gonna make Tyreek a lot better. I was gonna get ready to say too is that secondary alone with just Ramsey and Xavier Howard. Oh my God, that's terror. That's terrorizing.
My boy Holland.
Javon Holland.
No, I'm just saying those 2 guys alone is already terrifying, and then you add guys like Holland and others. They can go bring in some guys.
I like McKinley too.
Yeah, he's coming up.
I really like Miami's defense for the last probably 2-3 years.
They've been really good.
I thought Miami's defense was going to carry them last season.
I did too.
Ended up not being that fact, but their offense is just so explosive that I think that we thought the Dolphins was like that. But still, I think the defensive side is still going to be, their guys.
I think if they just figure out the Tua situation and he's healthy, I mean, Miami's one of the teams I think they're pretty well. They're not as well set as the Bears. They're one of the teams that's pretty well set though for the future as well. Like there's a lot of teams that you figure out a couple question marks. They're pretty well set, and that's one of them. They just figured out the Tua situation.
It's interesting too. We're seeing a lot of sort of loaded divisions right now. I mean, the AFC East with the Jets, if they get Rodgers and Breece Hall coming back, I mean, they were a quarterback away from making a big run.
100%.
The Bills are the Bills. They basically stay the same minus losing Edmonds. But Josh Allen is still there. And the Dolphins, and I don't think the Patriots are going to be in it. The Patriots are not going to be good. But if the Dolphins now look really good, if they have Tua healthy, and then what was the other? I mean, the AFC West can be stacked with the Chiefs, the Chargers. If the Broncos can start figuring things out,
that's still. I mean, we talked about it kind of last year when we were doing something like this. I mean, that division can be one of the best again this year if everyone has their head on straight and stuff. I mean, Jimmy G can come out firing. Russell Wilson looked better at the end of the season when they got rid of Hackett. Again, too late kind of move. They should have got rid of him sooner, but things happen and. They kind of re-amp their O-line a little bit too. So I think that division's still the most interesting for me.
Yeah, and it seems like the NFC South and the AFC South are sort of just like teams that are really bad, and then everybody else is like really good, except for maybe like one team in each division. But there's like 2 to 3 teams in every division that look really good. Yeah. So it should be interesting.
Interesting year of football ahead of us.
Yeah. Niners signed Sam Darnold. Just a backup role, I'm assuming, in case we have 4 quarterbacks get injured again, which could happen. Jimmy Ward signs with the Texans, so he's going with D'Amico.
I like that.
The Houston 49ers.
I like them move for the Texans.
I like Jimmy Ward. I like Jimmy Ward.
I don't care about
the Texans defensively last year. They were nice.
I think.
Yeah.
They were coming up.
I like their running back.
Damian Pierce. That's a dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Defensive side, they got my boy. What's his name? Petrie or something.
Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
That's and they have Stingley too.
You're right.
Derek Stingley. Yeah.
Out of LSU. Yeah. He's nice.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke goes to the Falcons, so that opens up the conversation. I mean, who's the Commanders' quarterback?
Sam Howell as of right now.
All right, well, that brings us to the man of the hour, I think, in Lamar Jackson. I think I wanted him to go to the Jets because I think the Jets had the best offense and they needed a quarterback. Now that looks like it's kind of not going to happen since they're probably going to go with Rodgers. I think he's out of Baltimore for sure because if they believed in him, they would have signed him a long time ago. It shouldn't have taken this long. So I think he's going to go to the Commanders. And I don't know. Him with McLaurin could be nice. I'm not so sure about the offensive line. He's probably going to have to run a little bit more. But
I feel like
we'll see.
That's an upgrade from Baltimore.
Think so?
It is a little bit.
Offensively, I feel like every position is an upgrade.
Yeah, you got McLaurin, Antonio Gibson.
Minus tight end, maybe.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say Mark Andrews played such a role for him though.
Right.
And then they have, I mean, like Washington's offense consists of McLaren,
Or was it
Antonio
vice versa?
Gibson, Curtis Samuel, and then
Who's their tight end? Why am I
Logan
blanking?
Thomas.
Logan Thomas.
So,
A healthy
but-
Logan Thomas can be pretty good.
He can make him.
Yeah.
He can make him better.
He has
He's
his
not Mark
spurts.
Andrews. But
No, absolutely
You
not.
can make him
but
better,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I would say it's a little upgrade. I don't think it's a big upgrade, and I don't know if that's his ideal situation, but that's definitely not a terrible spot. Like I can
No.
see that working, but I would still think they
You'll
got
have
to
to
get
see
him
it
a
twice.
little more help
yeah.
with the line, and then maybe bring in
think-
another weapon.
I think they'd have to pay him everything in the books to get him in order
Oh.
to go there.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be other teams calling, but I brought that up with Washington just because I think it'd be interesting with Dan Snyder, who's rumored to be selling the team soon. He needs to.
Yeah,
it would be very interesting if he went and got Lamar and then provided that value to the Washington franchise and then sold it. It seems like something plausible, but I like the Lions. I think the Lions could be. I mean, I know it's the Lions and it's the same old Lions, but last year I thought they changed
Same
things
old
up.
Lions.
They were better than a whole lot.
I was gonna say
in my
every
opinion.
year it's the same old Lions, but Dan Campbell last year, man, he's got those boys. I mean, they were playing.
tough.
Hart.
Jamal
They were
Williams
hard.
broke Barry Sanders' record for most touchdowns.
on.
I mean,
Come
that's
on.
nuts.
That guy's not even signed yet either. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about the running backs yet. We're probably going to get to that. That dude's not even signed yet either. And there's been guys that got signed before him, and that's wild.
And they got Emmanuel Mosley.
I didn't want him to go, to be honest. I liked his level of play.
He was our number one corner before he got hurt, and he signed a 1 year, $6 million deal.
We could have gave him more, honestly. I think, but
Prove it deal.
Mad about it still. Anyway, they got Aiden Hutchinson on that line. Jamison Williams coming back. He only played like 3 or 4 games last year,
That dude's gonna
and
be
he looked pretty good, even in those
dog,
few games he
man.
played.
That dude's
they still got
I
Amon
mean-
Ross St. Brown.
Yeah, that's
So
St.
Amon
Brown's a
Ross.
top 10 receiver.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
star.
the sun god.
Yeah, exactly. The sun god. With Swift and
And they
whoever's
got
back
Goff.
there.
I mean, you can't hit
He's
on
not a
Goff.
bad quarterback.
Yeah,
Goff
Jared
was
Goff is
not
good.
You got
terrible.
to remember he led a team to the Super Bowl. A couple
Yes,
years ago,
he did.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd
Gotta get
Gurley
rid of
team
his
too.
Todd Gurley, wow. What a throwback.
Seemed like so long ago, but that was only
That was the
6
most
years
boring
ago?
Super Bowl of
6
all
years
time,
ago,
though.
yeah.
That's
That was the most. Yeah, that's
that
true.
Super Bowl.
13
that was
to
so
3.
bad.
One touchdown. Come on, that was terrible.
Go Goff.
Dolphins.
I was at the game, bro. I was at the game where it was Cowboys versus the Rams in LA. C.J. Anderson had like 2 touchdowns,
C.J. yeah.
Oh.
130 yards or something. Went crazy on us, bro.
Cal Bear.
Was it?
He went to Laney too.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Eagles get Rashad Penny. That one's interesting.
Underrated move for me.
Definitely went under the radar.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders probably going to be on the move. He's a free agent. Don't think they're going to pay him.
No.
I don't think Howard, the GM for the Eagles, he's not going to pay running backs because they can just draft running backs. With that O-line, you just plug in new running backs.
Yeah.
and
It
they'll
doesn't
figure
matter.
it out.
They're gonna excel because
Yeah.
that O line is. If
Kenneth
not,
Gainwell and Boston
that's the
Scott.
best.
I mean,
Yeah.
And while
they
they
had
got that
career
quarterback,
years.
that quarterback they got over there in Philly, he's a pretty good runner.
Yeah,
He can run
he's
too.
all right, yeah.
Last time I
He's
checked.
a cool dude.
He just made the Super Bowl or something, but yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, I like the Rashad Penny move. I think that's gonna go down as one of the more underrated moves in general. It just
like
depends if he stays healthy, but good fit.
I like the move too.
Good fit. And then since we're talking about the running backs, not too many big names yet. Like we talked about, Montgomery's out there. Alexander Madison plays for the Vikings. He's out there. I still think Kareem Hunt can provide for somebody.
Yeah.
But one move that was kind of interesting was Perini, the old Bengals running back. He went to
Samaj Piran?
Pirine, excuse me. He went to the Broncos on a 2-year deal, only about $7.5 million. I think that's an interesting fit. That leaves Cincy without a running back though, because of the Joe Mixon stuff, the off the field issues. Is he going to be there? The allegations?
Yeah,
Does
he
get
has,
cleared?
I'm not up
was
to
it
date.
sexual assault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Allegations.
was this?
This was about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
This was like in the middle of the
Well, he had a
playoff run.
He had a warrant out for his arrest. Like, was that a month? I mean, I don't think it was that long ago.
it was in the middle of their playoff run.
Yeah.
It was
Manny Joe.
it's very questionable if he's gonna come back or not. Just,
And
figure out stuff.
Alvin Kamara in a similar situation, right?
Alvin
I mean,
Kamara.
they sort of put it off. That was for drafting in fantasy. I was like, I'm gonna stay away from Kamara because I don't know what's
I
gonna
didn't
happen.
touch him, yeah.
And they kind of just pushed it down the road. Now we're down the road, so.
I'll say one thing, too, and I think it's been kind of the same. I think a lot of people have been saying it for years. I think Buffalo's a running back away from having a top-tier offense, too.
100%. I like James Cook. I think James Cook is going to become a star.
I do, too.
He didn't have a great season, but his brother's Dalvin Cook, and he was really good in college.
Well, speaking of Dalvin Cook, if he gets traded, I have him going to Buffalo as a top destination.
That would be, what if he goes there and his brother's the backup?
That can work. I mean, and I don't think it's...
Then what are you guys going to do?
Rebuild. I mean, I'm accepting the rebuild. I got no expectations this year. I'm accepting the rebuild. I'm okay with it.
Already.
We win 5 games. We win 5 games. We win anything under 5 games, though.
You're
very
already
embarrassing.
expecting a rebuild. You guys just went 13-3.
Just the
A
moves we made.
rebuild with the best receiver in the league don't sit right with
What,
me.
you guys
It
lost
doesn't.
Cameron Dantzler?
Eric Kendricks, he went to the Chargers on a 2-year deal. Adam Thielen's, I've heard talks.
He didn't do anything last
He
year.
might
right?
be-
Yeah, but I heard
Yeah,
talks he's going to go to
league.
Kansas City. I mean, I hope he gets a ring if he does go somewhere to a big team, a good team. I hope he gets a ring.
I would still say you guys are the betting favorites to win your division right now.
I truthfully don't think so.
I wouldn't.
I don't
Who
think so.
who you got winning? Lions?
I got Detroit.
I might have the Bears after the move
Not
they
yet.
made.
Not yet. Not yet.
It's not. I don't think that's
They don't have
impossible.
players on the roster yet, though.
Well, I don't know.
When you think about
They
Detroit,
they were
they
the
one of
they were the
highest
worst team in
scoring-
football last year. It's gonna take a few years.
Lions
for the
were
Bears.
the highest scoring team.
Yeah,
in
they
the
were
league.
one of the
They
highest
were.
scoring in the league.
Well, I know.
Especially for the first few weeks, they were like number 1 by far.
I just think that DJ I mean, what they gave up, like the assets they got back for giving up, I think DJ Moore just.
The Bears can't stop a nosebleed. Right
That
now.
goes up. Like, I think that makes them really good. I got nothing against the Lions. I can see that too, but I mean, I really don't have expectations for the Vikings this year. I just don't. I'm just ready to get the
Maybe-
Kirk Cousins experiment over. Let's get a top
Yeah.
10 pick somewhere. Let's get a quarterback in there that can run. I'll be happy.
Yeah, it's the era of mobile quarterbacks. If you don't have a mobile,
Absolutely,
or at least a quarterback that can get out of the pocket and throw, you're not gonna go far.
No, I think you
At all.
need I think to go to the bowl, you need someone that's all the time mobile. I don't even think they can barely be mobile. You need someone who can take off. I'm not
Well,
obviously
Joe Burrow.
nobody's gonna be like a Lamar or Justin
Joe
Fields.
Burrow's a mobile quarterback, in my opinion.
Joe Burrow,
I've seen
he's-
him run enough
he's
times.
just
middle
enough.
for me.
He's
He's-
mobile because he's decisive enough
Yeah.
to know.
And-
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
similar
what
like
separates a lot of
Mahomes,
quarterbacks.
He has the instincts for it, but it doesn't mean he's like a mobile quarterback or a mobile athlete.
Well, when you think of Mahomes, you don't think of his legs. You think of his arm.
Bro
first.
took off for
Right.
33 yards with a bum ankle in the Super Bowl.
but
That's mobile
That's
to
the
me.
X factor when it comes to Mahomes. He can do both.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Right.
kind. That's
He's
what I'm
the
saying.
improviser, yeah.
That's the kind of player you need to
That's
get
what
to
you
the
need,
bowl.
yes.
Like you can't have a guy who can barely do it. You need a guy that can take off.
You
for
saw
40
Matthew
yards.
Stafford just win a Super Bowl as well.
Yeah.
I trust him to get out of the pocket too. I like him when he's out of the pocket. There
Yeah.
were
He was
stretches
like
during
30
that Super
he was
Bowl
like
run where he
32
got-
or
had to get out of the
33.
pocket, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
That Rams defense had a lot to do with that, though.
No,
too.
for sure. I think there's factors to it. I honestly don't think Kirk Cousins was a problem for the Vikings.
I don't think he is a problem, but he's not
I
working.
think that defense was just not good this year.
That defense was
They're
terrible.
super disappointing for a great offense.
Ed
Justin
Dontel-
Jefferson couldn't get open. That was the biggest
Yeah.
thing. He had 2-3 receptions in the first round of the playoffs versus
Guy
the
was on the
Giants?
back of a milk carton for weeks.
That was, they lost by 1 score, and Justin Jefferson didn't even touch the ball in the
and
second
44
half.
yards.
Jair Alexander did to him.
Oh God, the prison.
That's when
guard.
it started
Put
going
him in
downhill.
lockdown.
No, he put him in prison. That guy
Yeah.
was not getting out anytime soon either.
Solitary confinement, bro. It was bad.
Not even on good behavior. No way he was getting out. No way he was getting out. I didn't know. Generic Alexander's a warden
Jair
for me.
Alexander's
Yeah.
insane,
He's the man.
We're talking about best corners. We were talking about this before last season too, when we were doing the draft or whatever, drafting our players. I
Oh,
think I
he's
had
in my top
Alexander,
5.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be top 5.
Yeah, one of you guys had Alexander. I think I had Sauce. and
I took
you had-
Alexander.
You had Sertan.
You had Terrell. I
took
Alexander.
AJ
Yeah,
Terrell.
right.
Yeah.
This is a couple months ago.
This was before last season, the
Yeah.
start of last season.
Yeah.
Now I would say Pat Surtain's my favorite,
Okay.
but I think Alexander's up there for sure.
Alexander might be mine. He's on Green Bay.
All right, is that all the football we want to cover?
I believe so. One kind of quick thing I want to say. I know it's kind of starting to pick
What
up a
about the
little
rest?
bit now, but I think the wide receiver market being so quiet, I kind of felt like those would be some of the first guys kind of off the board. Names like Juju Smith, DJ Chark, OBJ, Adam Thielen. I mean, Alan Lazard got signed today, but those guys are still out there. I mean, I thought those guys would be gone day one, and it's just kind of a little surprising that the wide receiver market's kind of quiet, but
Yeah.
sure it'll pick up at some point.
I don't really see too much coming from those guys. Like pretty much everybody named Odell, I feel like he could still work on the team. I feel like Adam is on the way out of the league.
But I think those are guys.
Juju was on his way out of the league until his second half of the Super Bowl.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't think he was on his way out, but he was definitely
not
getting
literally
close.
on his way out of the league.
Yeah.
He was on a
Nobody
decline
was-
very quick. I didn't like what I saw from him in Pittsburgh, and so him being with Mahomes, I mean, the best quarterback in the league. I mean, obviously he's going to make you look good. I don't know. I mean, I think he comes back to the Chiefs. If he doesn't, it's going to be very hard for me to see him being in like another successful role. I mean, I can see it happen, but it's going to be it's rough, man.
He can. He just can't be a number one.
It's hard.
He has to be like your 2 or 3.
He's not going to be number one.
Oh, no,
At
that's
this
what I'm
point in his
saying.
career,
Yeah, no,
if
no,
he's
no.
the number one, then he's,
That's a bad team.
Yeah.
Respectfully, that's just a bad team. No, but I
Bad
think
receiving core for sure.
but I do think those guys that I just named, I think they can go to teams that are maybe just need another receiver, like a 2 or 3 or even a 4th, and they can help out in some way. Like I don't know where these guys would go, but I can see one of those 4 guys potentially getting a ring this year, depending on where they go in the situation. That's
Yeah,
how
I think
can see it.
Odell is definitely the top name.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. See where he goes. He almost went to a team right before the playoff run last year. Yeah. Cowboys were in conversation.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
He didn't get that done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think it
was
was the
talking about it for
injury.
like 2 weeks, and next thing you know, I see T.Y. Hilton wearing number 16. All right, that's not Odell.
That is not Odell.
I did not like that move. I thought Odell could do a whole lot more than T.Y.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think they're
there was
concerned about his
something-
health.
I think it was probably money
about
wise.
his future.
I think
I think
Jerry
it was-
wants
I
to
think
spend
it was
money on a
health.
free agent.
Right.
And his
Yeah.
health. Yeah.
No way, not T.Y. Hilton.
He said, I see T.Y. Hilton.
Dang.
But I think Odell on the Cowboys is a great fit.
I don't.
Honestly,
I like it.
I think they've regretted getting rid of Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
For sure.
They need a second option to CeeDee Lamb because
No, we
all his
need a
greatest.
number one
yeah.
option. I feel like CD is a great number 2 receiver.
Mm.
A great number 2 receiver.
He's on the
And he
cut.
could be
He's a
number
1 or
one.
2 for me.
I think he's this upcoming year he could definitely step
He
into
can be the
number
number one for sure.
I
But I,
think
feel
he
like
already is.
we just need a. I feel like the Cowboys need somebody. We're really every team just needs somebody that's gonna make the right play, make the smart play. When they're playing against defense, slow down against the zones. I don't see a lot of that from CD right now.
Mhm.
That comes with time, and that's
Right.
what Cooper had. He had a lot of years in the league. That comes with time.
That's facts.
CD's a good receiver to have though in general.
Definitely.
Yeah, they hit on the draft. Although
Yes.
Jefferson went after, hindsight's 50-50.
Oh well.
Oh well,
It's very,
Hey, honestly, hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to cut
Go
you
ahead.
off. You can say that. Let's just remember the Eagles took Jalen Rieger. We'll leave it at that.
And didn't y'all have him at one point?
well. And who did the Raiders
Traded
take?
for him, yeah.
Traded.
Well, also, it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
hard. You're saying that in hindsight now, but it's very hard to gauge, especially that draft because it had so many
There's so
wide
many
receivers.
receivers,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's
Lot of
so
talent.
hard to pick out of that bunch. So, I mean, I'm not mad at Dallas for
I think
taking
CeeDee Lamb
I
and
like
Jerry
that.
That was a
Jeudy
good
were
pick.
probably the 2 guys.
Those were the 2
coming
ones
out,
that, like,
Those
I wanted
were-
Judy to come to
Yeah.
the Niners.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad at IU going. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought Judy would be the first wide receiver taken in general. When Ruggs got picked, I was shocked.
Yeah,
Like, legit.
and that was just straight off of the fact that the Chiefs had just won a Super Bowl, and they're like, we
Yeah.
need a Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Speed.
They're trying to find a Tyreek
They
Hill.
needed speed.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on to some NBA talk?
yes, sir.
Let's get
So we're gonna get into a little bit about the.
Wait, before you say that, Cowboys get a linebacker. All right, go ahead.
Wrong camera. There you go.
Cowboys get a linebacker.
Lane Vander-ish or whatever.
He just re-signed.
Leighton Vander Esch.
Congratulations. There's your linebacker.
There's your linebacker. You got him.
No,
Congratulations.
You don't want it?
get a linebacker with some trades.
Tremaine Edmonds just went.
That's what I wanted.
Funny. All right. Let's start.
Ain't no way.
Let's start off with some awards. All right. So we predicted awards and standings early before the season. We're not going to necessarily revisit all that. If we did, I mean, I'll just say my top 5 in the East is all the same. I had the Nuggets at number 1, but we're not talking about that, right? So.
No, we're not talking about that.
Right. Okay. So awards. I had Tatum for MVP early, but now I got the 3-time. 3 straight years. I got Nikola Jokic averaging 25, 12, and 10. A triple-double on the number 1 team in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I understand it's tough to sort of give him the award 3 times in a row. I think Embiid deserved it last year, so you can't go back in the past and have a consequence to Jokic for this great season just because maybe he shouldn't have won it last year.
Right.
I think he deserves it this year based off how he's played. He's one of the best passing big men of all time, someone we've really never seen before at that position, the way he can facilitate, the way he's making his teammates around him better. I mean, you look at win shares, a lot of advanced statistics, win shares, he's leaps and bounds the best player in terms of affecting the game and making his teammates around him better. So that's why I have him as the most valuable player.
As much as I can't stand it because I wanted Joel Embiid to win last year, and I thought he should. I think he's definitely in the conversation right now to win it, but I think Jokic is going to win it as well. I mean, it's very hard to average a triple-double in this league with the amount of skill that every team has.
And being the number 1 team in the West.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jokic is probably going to win it.
For me, it's 4 guys: Jokic, Tatum, Luka, and Embiid. Those 4 guys, I think, are fighting for it. And honestly, whoever wins it, I mean, you can't be mad at if one of those 4 guys wins it. I would prefer to see a Tatum or Luka get it. Probably it'll kind of lean more towards Tatum just because of where he's at seeding-wise in the Eastern Conference. Because I think going forward, I mean, and it's no disrespect to Jokic, but I think going forward once, like, LeBron, the Currys, all those guys kind of go, I think the league's going to be battling. I mean, I know Giannis will still be around too, but I think it's going to be battling between Luka and Tatum, the East-West kind of, who's the next star up type thing.
Ja could be in that conversation.
Ja, if he gets his stuff together. I mean, Jokic will be there.
He will get it together.
You could talk about Luka's arch enemy over there in Phoenix.
Oh. He's everybody's arch enemy.
Clay, let him know what happened. Like, let him know what was up yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah,
I'm the original.
I saw him blowing kisses to Luka and Kyrie on the bench, and Luka and Kyrie didn't even play.
Dude, that's wild.
He hit a 3 and started blowing kisses to the bench
crazy.
when they weren't DMPs. They didn't even play.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's another conversation that we could.
What are we talking about?
Dylan Brooks.
Why'd y'all say the Suns? I got
Yeah,
thrown off.
Dylan Brooks.
Wait.
I'm confused. Where are you talking?
I was talking about Devin Booker.
That's what
I thought about Devin Brooks.
Oh, I thought we were talking about
pedestrian?
Dylan Brooks.
No,
pedestrian.
No, I'm sorry. Dylan Brooks, no.
Oh my god.
He's
That's right.
talking
Devin
like
Booker too. Yeah.
He's talking like he's done this before and like he's been there before. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I
Bringing
got
up Dylan Brooks is kind of wild.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks.
I mean, I thought we were talking.
Pedestrian.
There's
He's
been
the
a
pedestrian. He wanted to call LeBron pedestrian.
him and
I'm like,
Draymond
bro,
were just
stop.
getting into it, and I guess no, that was Steph who was talking to him. It wasn't Clay. Yeah, Clay and Devin Booker definitely has some history now.
Yeah, Devin.
I mean, Clay got ejected last time.
Said you got me last few times. I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah, Clay got ejected. I think the last time Clay got ejected was against the Suns and Booker.
Yeah.
He was struggling, having a bad game against D-Book, and they were talking to each other.
I'll tell you what, though, that rivalry of Book and Luka for years to come, man, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be
it's gonna be cool.
That's gonna be cool to look forward to.
The Suns better get Luka back because, man, they 40 ball, game 7,
Yeah, that was crazy
Yeah.
to witness.
and Luka just from the gates was.
He's like, yeah, I'm not
He's
here to
the
waste my time.
Look, he's the truth. I mean,
Just to get knocked out next round.
It's true.
Yeah, that is true.
We do that to a lot of
We
teams.
do it to a
though.
lot of
What
teams.
we was talking about MVP.
Yeah,
Who you got as MVP, Ken?
I have Nikola Jokic.
Oh yeah, you just said that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All 3 of you guys said that.
Who do
Yep.
I want to win MVP? Embiid.
Wait, you didn't give a specific, right?
Oh wait, no, you just said 4 guys.
I had 4 guys.
You said you copped out and gave 4 guys.
Yeah, specific.
So there's only one award.
I understand. So if I had to really pick someone, I think if they can keep afloat and stuff and they hold on to that number 1 spot, I think Tatum should get it.
They're not number 1. The Bucks are number 1.
Yeah, the Bucks are number 1 right now.
The Bucks took over.
Oh yeah, they took over a while ago.
Oh. How far off?
Boston's
they're
2 by
games back.
2.5 games. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, still 1 and 2.
Right.
I'd like to see Tatum, but I mean, it is right now leaning towards Jokic. And again, I don't think it's
We've
a bad
seen
thing.
people winning with the 5th seed and 7th seed, and
Yeah,
I just
All
think
types
I
of
think
things.
I think it's between Jokic and Embiid in my mind.
I got Embiid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to take Embiid.
I'd love
I
for
thought he
Embiid to
deserved
win
it
it.
last year, and right now I originally had Harden coming in as just like a little biased pick, but Harden's teammate is leading the league in points per game. He got Harden leading the league in assists per game. I love that little 1-2 combo.
And also, last time Jokic played Embiid,
what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What happened?
I loved it.
46?
I loved every bit. Yeah,
46?
46.
Yeah.
Dogged him
46.
every
Last
time.
few
Like,
times.
No, Embiid really the last month or so has been on a different level right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be
love for
surprised
him
if
to
he
win
if he makes a push here and wins that award.
I hope he
I-
does.
yeah,
I
that'd be great.
believe he was the first center to average 30 points per game last year in like 30 years or something something crazy like that, and he's doing it again
Since who,
this
like-
year, but even more.
Who was the last center? Was it like Hakeem or David Robinson? I don't know.
Maybe Ben Wilt. I don't know.
It might have been.
First player in 7 years.
Jeez.
Anyway, yeah, I think what's interesting is the fact that we know this is like a guard-heavy league and
Yeah.
the positionless basketball. Yet the two MVP conversations for the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, it's been Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid.
Embiid.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
big
some of the
man.
biggest guys. It's two centers and a power forward who's 6'11". KD's always in that conversation. Like, it's interesting how we think the game's getting smaller because the Warriors have had success with the backcourt duo being able to carry them to a championship, and the league has sort of followed with a lot of guys shooting threes. But yeah, it's interesting that these two centers are sort of every year in the race now for the last few years for the MVP award.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, DPOY Defensive Player of the Year. I'll start it off. I personally think there's definitely a couple guys that you go to. I have Jaren Jackson Jr.
So do I.
He has the most blocks per game at 3.1, and the Grizzlies have the number 1 defensive rating in the NBA. So I think that's big. He's been a monster. He almost won it last year. Maybe should have won it last year. And props to him, man, because he was injured coming into this season.
Yep.
He missed a chunk of change during the beginning of the season, but since coming off injury, he's been great. And he's been a block machine so far in his NBA career.
I have him winning it too, but I'm not sleeping on Brook Lopez. That big game he had the other night, I believe he got the triple-double where he had 20, 10, and 10 blocks. He might have only got 9 blocks, but
Who was that against?
that was against... Oh, God, that was just the other night. You know what, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't
Us?
remember.
Golden State?
Was it Golden State? I'm not sure. I actually
That
don't
was the game where
remember.
Curry scored 22 in the fourth in OT, right?
Yes, that was it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
it
was that
was
game.
against Golden State.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think Jaren Jackson is the clear winner. And I don't remember who won it last year, but he should have got it last year.
Was it Gobert?
Marcus Smart. won
Oh, it was
last
Marcus
year.
Smart. Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
that was
I don't know about that
fraudulent.
one.
Marcus Smart's one of the
No
worst.
disrespect to Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart's one of the worst defensive players in basketball this year. I don't know if you looked at it.
This year.
Statistically,
Wow.
maybe statistically.
Hey, I'm sorry, fraudulent, maybe not the right word, because he was great last year. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the fact that he's won the award before Drew Holiday is crazy to me. Because Drew
That-
Holiday's
that's-
Drew Holiday's
yeah.
the best defensive guard in our
Drew
generation. He
Holiday
gets no respect
That's a fact.
Drew Holiday might be one of the most underrated players in the league, period.
ever.
He has been.
Honestly, ever.
He has been for the last.
So
shit,
underrated.
career.
He is.
All he does is win, and all he does is lock up. I mean,
And he's not loud. He's quiet. He don't talk. He don't get into trouble. He
he's
comes
going
to
to
do
shoot
his
near
job.
40%.
When
He's
Clay
going to
was
get
at
you
his peak,
assists.
He was the best both way player, but Drew's right there, right
Drew's
next to him.
Drew's been that for almost a decade. I mean,
Yeah. That's a consistent player right there. And I think every team in the league would benefit from him in some way or another. Even the worst teams, if they just got him for whatever reason. He's beneficial.
We'll move on to the
DPOY. Did you guys enter your DPOY?
I think we all got the same.
Jaren Jackson.
You got Jaren
I think it's
Jackson?
all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson.
Rookie of the year.
Unanimous.
Oh, I think it's
This is,
Paulo.
yeah, this might be
Yeah.
unanimous too.
Yeah.
Are we all unanimous again?
I think it's me, Paulo. I want to give a little shout. No, actually, I'm not gonna. Do
You give
this.
us flowers. Go ahead and give.
I'll give a shout out to Walker Kessler.
Oh,
now
that's
Walker
not what I was
Kessler is
expecting. Yeah.
who none of us
Me
were
neither.
expecting because Rudy Gobert left.
Yeah.
And Walker Kessler's averaging. He has the fourth most blocks in the NBA. He's almost averaging a double-double. He's averaging 9 rebounds a game and like 9 points. He's been a really good center for the Jazz, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a cornerstone for the Jazz moving forward. Him and Lauri Markkanen have been really good.
I think
front
those
court.
are two good cornerstones to have. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that.
So I didn't put him down, but it's just kind of like we all have Paulo, so might as well talk
Yeah.
about some other maybe rookies that impressed this year? Not a whole lot now that I think about
A little
it.
underwhelming class.
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick shout out though to Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin, sorry. Him coming off the bench, especially too, that kind of makes his case a little better. But yeah, Paolo should run away with it.
He's cooled off a little bit. He started off the year hot, and he was like averaging like 20. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's looking good.
He's a rookie though. He hit the rookie
Yeah.
wall, and you never know. You go through the sophomore slump. That's okay. You're gonna have
Right.
those. You're gonna have those moments. But yeah, Paolo is definitely the front runner. He'll run away with it.
I think Paolo's gonna win it, but I like Shaden Sharp as well. I enjoy
bad.
watching him play.
Yeah.
His bounce is unbelievable.
His bounce is crazy.
And also Kenyon Martin.
Junior? Yeah.
Kenyon Martin Jr. for
The
Houston.
Rockets, yeah.
I know they're a very bad franchise right now, or not franchise.
I don't know if he's a rookie.
He's not a rookie.
He came out- Jabari
he came out
Smith
a couple
is the
years
rookie, yeah.
ago.
Jabari Smith is the
Yeah.
rookie.
Jabari Smith
My
and
bad.
Tari Eason. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the rookies.
Right.
Yeah, I think Kenyon Smith is a sophomore now, I believe.
He's been like
Is
a
he
year or
a
two.
3-year
He
guy
came
now?
out like 2 years ago, I think,
wow.
because he was
My
supposed to
bad.
get traded last year and then going in the off season, but they just ended up keeping him. He's been playing good. He just he fits on that Houston team, as weirdly constructed as it is. He fits. Tyrese Eason's nice. They need to give him a little more room.
Keegan Murray shooting the ball well. His
I like
defense is
Keegan's
not
good.
amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the
Non-existent.
defensive side, but
No.
he's been shooting okay. He's had some pretty big games.
He shot well, but
You gotta be pretty happy as a Kings fan. Keegan Murray, not bad.
I don't know. He's a good fit. He's a good fit. Just
Not
in
a draft
general.
bust.
No,
Let's
he's
go.
not.
Yeah, we're
No.
making progress. Yeah.
No more Jimmer Fredette. All right. Yeah.
Marvin Bagley over Luka.
Yeah, crazy world we live in. But anyways, yeah, no, he just fits the mold well. I mean, he just slides in there and he's just told to shoot threes, and he's a 4. I mean, stretch 4s are starting to become pretty valuable again as they were a while back. So he just fits, and I'm sure he'll get better and he can be something. But rookie of the year is just
Yeah,
just
just a
hardware.
runaway, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Tyreek Evans won rookie of the year, averaging 25 and 5, and that
That's
dude
right.
fell off a cliff after that. So I'd rather not talk about that anymore.
It is true.
Next category.
6 man.
Oh, can I start this one off?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Go
want to
for it.
just
Ready.
so I'll tell you guys my pick in a sec. I actually want an opinion on this if he should fall in this category because we were talking about Jordan Poole off camera. Does Russell Westbrook fit in that category?
So
How many games did
yeah.
he?
I
So,
don't know.
I think we
That's why I
looked
was
up
kind
in
of
the
asking.
back, and you have to have started less than half of the games you've
Games?
played.
Yeah. I'm only saying I know he hasn't been with the Clippers
I think
too
he's-
long, but I know he had a few starts with the Lakers too.
Mhm.
So I don't know if he falls out of that, or if he
Let's
falls in
see.
that category.
Man, it's tough.
How many games have he played?
He's only started 11 games.
That's it.
Yeah. He's come off
wow.
the bench for
Wow.
majority of the
I
season.
thought it was at least in the 20s.
So
Yeah, so he started 8 games for the Clippers and just 3 for the Lakers.
Yeah, he's 6 man.
So,
Oh.
yeah, he's 6 man.
Okay.
So you predicted Russell Westbrook
I was
6 man?
gonna say, yeah,
Off
you
the
did.
bench, Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like him if he fits the mold. Malcolm Brogdon started off slow. He's kind of coming around. I don't see him as my favorite, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You brought up Emmanuel quickly. I slept on that, and I apologize.
That's
that
my
one,
6-man.
That one's solid.
And he's been heating up too.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he's been
has.
balling.
Yeah, and I definitely forgot about and slept
The
on him.
Knicks
So
have been balling.
yes, they have.
They're
Too bad they lost to the Kings though.
in the East?
No, there's
6. They slumped
Six?
a little bit.
Nets
They-
5.
Yeah.
Knicks 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My guy, though, that I think can have a chance, especially the way the team's playing, and if he can his issue is he can stay consistent. I think Malik Monk has a solid shot at it. I don't think he's a favorite, but he has a solid shot at it. With,
I like
I
that.
mean, he's got better
Definitely
stats than Brogdon. I think him and Quickly are pretty even, or Quickly might be just a little above him.
Let me throw one more name out there. Christian Wood,
Oh no,
17 points per game.
That's not bad.
17.
He leads every 6 man. So Westbrook's averaging
I just feel like he's hurt too much though.
16 points per game.
Yeah.
Christian Wood 17. So I think he's the leading scorer coming off the bench. He's only started 17 out of the 56 games played.
not
He's
bad.
played 56 games, so he's been healthy. He's just been coming off the bench for the Mavericks.
I guess I kind
Why?
of forgot he came off the bench.
Yeah.
We all
okay.
thought that was going to change, but
Yeah, that's kind of why. I guess
wrong.
that's kind of why I took him. Yeah, I kind of thought he would slide in that starting role
Mm-hmm.
eventually, but I mean, he has the credentials, and I didn't. If he's the leading scorer, I mean, most six man of the year awards from past, like Jamal
Scores.
Crawford,
Definitely.
Jordan Clarkson, Lou Will.
Yeah, it's the
those guys were
microwaves.
averaging
Yeah.
18 to 21 points a game, so it's
Right.
kind of rare not to see someone kind of sparking it up. But yeah, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of slept on that too.
Why doesn't Malik Monk start?
It's just the way he is. So I mean, they use
Kevin Huerter.
Kevin Huerter starts,
De'Aaron Fox.
and it just how it works. And he's more of just kind of that microwave guy. Like he just needs to come in because
he's like a Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Yeah.
You know,
You
someone
just
coming
kinda
off the
need
bench.
him.
Maybe
I-
Jordan
Bring
Clarkson.
in
If
some
you
energy, quick points real fast. That's why I like
Yeah.
Russ, because he's going to come in and bring some energy.
as long as he doesn't
Quick
turn the ball
points.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
against
always
him
been his
starting,
Achilles heel.
but I do like him coming off the bench, and I'd prefer Herter as a starter too, just in
Oh,
general.
yeah. Herter's been
Yeah.
amazing this year. Herter was such
Yeah.
a steal from the Hawks. I mean, he's shooting the lights
That was my
out.
favorite acquisition.
What, last night he had like 8 threes, right?
8 threes, yep.
Yeah,
8
he
threes,
was
28
on a heater.
points. I mean, he hit 4 of them in a row, like possession-wise too. And I did some math when I was paying attention. Sabonis had a triple-double last night. I believe Sabonis had 15 assists. He assisted on all of those threes to Kevin Huerter except 1. So seven assists alone for just threes. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's wild.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That little 2-man handoff game they have is.
Yeah, what about, I mean, De'Aaron Fox this year has taken it to another level. I want to maybe spend some time just talk about the Kings, because the Kings have been, I mean, I know we're on the topic of the awards, but we're already here.
Yeah.
Talk about the Kings, the 3 seed in the West.
Yeah.
I had them at the 10 seed, and I thought I was being generous because, you know, I like the Kings, but Mike Brown has taken over, and this team is a legit playoff contender. Hopefully, we'll see. Maybe if you weren't a Kings fan, because, you know, you're a Vikings fan, so I don't know. It's hard for me to trust that.
Dang.
No, I'm just kidding.
Man.
But
You put it like that.
Damn, the shots were
I was,
for sure
I was
fired.
building them all up. Like, it's like, yes,
I know.
and then boom.
Y'all are talking about the Kings. I'm
Gotta
like
bring 'em
over here
down.
smiling, like, yep. Let me hear it. Let me hear what y'all got to say about them.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis is one of the best duos right now. And
That's a top 5 duo for me.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox. I think De'Aaron Fox has been really just special. Like you said, that clutch award that I believe they're adding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wins that. He's been super clutch late in games. He's definitely matured in that level.
Mm-hmm.
This is year 5 or 6 for him.
drafted 17.
17,
So this is
yeah.
This
6.
is year 6
Year
for
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, 5. I'm sorry, 5.
it seems like he's been getting
Yeah.
better every year, right? Because when he
Yeah.
came into the league, it was like,
He's
this guy's fast. He can get to the basket, but can't really shoot super quick. But now he's shooting, and my favorite is his float game, his pick and roll,
Yeah.
like the fact that he can dish it down to Sabonis, or he'll get the floater has been really good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been playing great. I mean, are they still top 5 offense in basketball, right?
They're number 1.
Number 1, yeah.
They're up to points wise. I think they're up to 21 now points, and then efficiency. Unless they skid it off, they should at least be top 3, at the very least.
So with all that being said, with the Kings and everything, that brings us to the next award, I think, with Coach of the Year. And
Oh, right.
I think if Mike Brown doesn't get that, to me, that'll be horrible.
That's
Yeah.
criminal.
Because
Yeah.
from what they were last year to what they are now, like, dog.
It's complete 180.
Yeah.
Yes, completely. And
But you guys
so,
had the 5th pick?
4th pick. Yeah.
4th pick.
4th pick in the draft.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the worst teams in basketball.
Yeah.
And, yeah, then to completely flip it around
in one season.
in one season, it's pretty spectacular. I think we're all in agreement. Mike Brown, Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say anybody else.
Right.
The only other person I would, if I had to give it to somebody else, I would lean towards the Celtics coach, just because of all the turmoil that
Yeah,
kind of
being
happened.
interim. Yeah,
and,
coming
you
in
know,
with, everything that went on.
But yeah, I think Mike Brown should definitely win it by a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Celtics coach can get his flowers too if something crazy
I
happens.
give him his respect for sure, but at the same time,
Yeah.
Boston was just in the finals. Like,
Yeah, no, I know.
They're still
Right.
they still have
They're
Jason
That,
Tatum and
the
Joel
team's the
Embiid.
exact
Yeah.
same, except they only added Malcolm Brogdon.
Right.
Yeah.
and a different coach. That's it.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. But just
Yeah.
the turmoil factor for the Celtics. I mean, that was looking
definitely
real
about to come
bad.
That's
Like,
legit for real.
yeah.
Also,
that
I
was-
like even the Nets interim head coach.
Jacques Vaughn.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job with
Yeah.
Steve Nash leaving in the middle of the year. His team's basically just been dismantled, and now they have a bunch of young guys, and they're still playing all right. I mean, they're the 5th seed in the East.
Yeah.
Almost 40 wins.
Yeah, almost 40 wins. They're still winning games. Mikal Bridges is
Oh,
my
man,
god,
he's
on the tear right
awesome.
now.
he's going off right now.
Brooklyn Bridges. I love that nickname too.
Yeah. All right, so one last award. Speaking of guys who have been going off, and maybe a surprise, most improved player. There's a few options here.
I have
3, and
I
I
do
can't.
too.
I literally cannot choose between the 3. I have Lauri Markkanen, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jalen Brunson.
I didn't even put Jalen Brunson on. That's
I like
disrespectful.
Jalen Brunson.
For all 3 of them, they have been balling and doing what they do for a while. This pretty much this whole year. Especially Jalen Brunson. He's I can't say enough about the man. So it's very hard for me to choose between the 3. If I had to, probably be Jalen Brunson. I like Brunson.
Most
a lot.
improved.
Yeah.
My only difference, instead of Brunson, I put Tyrese Halliburton in mine for 3 players.
Oh, yeah.
But if I had my most improved player, and it's no disrespect to Lauri Markkanen, he's having a phenomenal season. He does deserve it too. I think we have to go. I have to go SGA.
SGA?
I mean, he's he's taking leaps and bounds into stardom, not just improvement overall. I mean, this guy's gonna be in the star category a lot sooner than later. And OKC, I mean, they're right there. I mean, they could fight in for the play-in. I believe they're tied with who is it? They're tied with the Pelicans right now, 33 and 35. I mean, they could fight for that play-in.
Yeah.
Real
possible.
quick, the Pelicans were number 1 in December.
It's the Zion effect.
They plummeted.
Yeah, Zion hasn't
they
played
fell
in
That's
a month.
insane to me. Like,
2
I don't
months.
think I've seen a team drop off that quick.
Yep, Brandon Ingram's missed time,
Yeah.
mostly Zion, and they're saying he might be back for the playoffs, but they got to make the play-in and win those games first.
I don't even know if they're gonna make it, man.
Yeah, I know, a team that had a lot, one of the best teams in the West.
They were number
a lot
1.
of hype coming into the season as well. So my one thing for, at least how I look at most improved now, John Morant won the award last year, so I'm not really sure what the criteria
Which
is.
made no sense to
That
me.
was
It had Jordan Poole, who's
bad.
playing in the G League, and then came in to be a star,
Like, how does that
versus the guy who was the second pick of the draft.
Yeah, that was.
No, like seriously, how does that go unrecognized?
I don't know. That's wild.
It's
to me.
bizarre. It's
I'm-
still bizarre to this day.
That
And it was a
might have
year
been the
ago.
last straw for me for all these rewards and awards
Yeah.
and stuff because the criteria always
Mm-hmm.
Changes, yeah.
I don't know,
Right.
it's just an award to me. I guess it doesn't really hold too much value.
Right. Even his teammate Desmond Bain should have won it over John Morant.
Right,
I couldn't agree more.
He
with
wasn't even
that.
the right Grizzly to win the award.
right.
Anyway, so my one thing is, SGA has been obviously SGA is having a magnificent season. He's averaging 31 points per game, but this is a guy who averaged 24 for the last 2 years on the Thunder. So we've known he's a great scorer, and my only argument for Lauri Markkanen is the jump that he's made. He went from a 13 points per game scorer last year to 25. That's a 12-point. He doubled his points per game, and he's averaging 9 rebounds a game. So I have Lauri Markkanen basically throughout the whole season. He's been magnificent, and although he's not winning a lot of games, I think he's done his part for sure, especially from where he was with the Bulls. Sort of looked like a draft bust. Was not the player that
Cleveland thought.
either. But I do like SGA, Halliburton as well. Although again, if John Morant's gonna win the award, then Halliburton and Shea could definitely win it because these guys were stars in my opinion. SGA was a star heading into the season. Tyrese Halliburton was a top 7, top 5 point guard in the league heading into the season in my opinion, and he's lived up to that. So it's I think that they've exceeded expectations for sure, both of those players, because they're all stars and leading their team. But I like Lauri Markkanen just because he came out of the blue.
Yeah. He deserves it too. I wouldn't be mad if SGA, Tyrese, or him win it. I think any one of those 3 is well deserving. Jalen Brunson too. I mean, I just kind of slept on him and forgot about him, but he wins it. I mean, I don't think you can be mad with any of those choices. I mean, unless someone just comes out of the cuts, but I don't see that happening. So I think any one of those 4 guys deserves it, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see at the end what happens.
Yep. Any
Yeah.
most improved?
I do like Markkanen a lot. I like him for this award, and especially because of all the moves that they went through in the off season, and then for him to come in, and they basically asked him to be that guy, and he stepped up. And he stepped up and did more and beyond, right? But I think I'm gonna have a dark horse player for this little award. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Nick Claxton.
Ooh, I like that.
Nick Claxton, the big guy, show him some love, man.
One of the best defensive centers. I mean, second in blocks, I think.
Right.
He's been spectacular.
Second in
He's been
blocks.
nice,
He's
yeah.
averaging 12 and 9, 12 points and 9
Mhm.
rebounds. But get this, he's shooting 71% right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he leads the league in field goal percentage.
I believe he
He's
does
shooting
too.
That's very talk about efficiency.
Yep, he is. He's leading the league.
On a team that doesn't have Kevin Durant or Kyrie.
I know.
12
Right.
points, 9 rebounds.
Right, so
yeah.
you add in all that. They got rid of Kyrie. They got rid of KD. They got all this commotion going inside the organization.
Right.
And he's just being reliable right now. I gotta give him his respect. Gotta give him his flowers.
I agree. I like
That I like that too. I got no complaints with that either.
Yeah, this is a guy. Again, this is a guy who almost doubled all of his. He almost doubled his rebounds, his blocks, and points by 5.
That is a very good dark horse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That really
I
is.
See,
is.
those are the kind of
Yeah.
things I like to look at. Guys who have almost like doubled their stats, who have taken a huge leap. But again, it's hard to predict that because John Morant won the award, and it's just like, all right.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't win it though, he
Deserves to be in that conversation.
yeah, and he's gonna get some money this offseason too. Whether it's the Nets or someone else, someone's gonna pay him nicely. So that
Yeah,
was a
he's
good
only
pick.
23 too.
Yeah,
So
that was a
He's really
good
young.
dark horse.
Yeah.
I like that one.
he's very similar to a left-handed, not quite Jared Allen, but Jared Allen was on the
Definitely
Nets.
see similarities.
Yeah, I was. That's actually
Yeah.
a good comparison.
Yeah.
That's actually a great comparison.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of the reason. I mean, obviously the big trade with Harden, but one of the reasons they were okay to part with Allen is because they had him coming up. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
he's like 19 years old. when
yeah,
they made
that's
that
actually
trade.
that's a good comparison. I have no complaints with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that one. That was good. I did.
Was it good?
I'm a little hungry too. I haven't
I
had
feel
dinner
you,
yet.
man. I'm right there with you.
All right, we got the awards out of the way. I think.
Yeah.
There's some other awards that we don't really know about. Some new awards, right?
Yeah.
Clutch player.
Some new awards coming out. Clutch player. If there's a clutch player award, I'm not quite sure. So, lastly, a playoff picture. So,
Oh boy.
This can get interesting.
Yeah.
Bucks are number 1. Celtics are number 2. The Celtics are behind the Bucks by 2.5 games. The Celtics, who had the lead, they were the number 1 team for a while, but the Bucks have been surging lately. I think they're on like a 17-game win streak. The Bucks were going
Yeah,
crazy.
they were going insane. Oh man.
So, I think, in my opinion, the East is. I think there's really 3 to 4 teams when it comes down to it. The Sixers, the Celtics, and the Bucks are definitely the teams to look out for.
Definitely.
The Cavs can make something happen
Right.
with Donovan Mitchell if he drops a 50 piece on you in a big game, and that team's really young. The Cavs are going to be great for a long time, but I think right now the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Sixers are the teams to really reckon with
Yeah.
in the East.
I'm rocking with Boston. Boston's been the team I've been rocking with since like literally the beginning. They're the team I have to win the whole entire thing. I don't like them losing at home as much as they do, especially to Orlando. You've gotten beat by Orlando twice at home. You can't let that happen. And then
Yeah.
you blow a 27-point lead to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
which is also very alarming to look at. But with all that being said, I do think Boston is. They probably won't. I don't know if they're going to catch up to Milwaukee. If they do, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not so sure. But they're the team I'm rocking with in the East.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Celtics. I can't. The Sixers though, man, that's a scary team. That Harden and Embiid duo, that I really like that duo. That can cause some problems for people, but I do have the Celtics. I can see them going back to the finals realistically. They can win it too. I
I'm
mean,
winning it.
yeah, they could win it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting if the Sixers can really get over that hump because, I mean, if Embiid is healthy for the rest of the regular season and for this playoff run,
It's bad.
it's bad for anybody who has to
For
play them
anybody else, yeah, it's bad.
because we really know that the only reason the 76ers haven't gone past is because Embiid's health
We got hurt.
or a Kawhi shot that we all know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Greatest game winner.
Yeah.
Kawhi travel, then the shot.
right.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I mean, I like the 76ers a lot. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really predict who I think is going to go to the ECF necessarily, who's going to go to
Yeah.
the championship. You know, I want to talk about a team I was a little disappointed in, and I have to say 2 teams in the East. The Hawks. The Hawks have disappointed me. DeJounte Murray has had an okay season, but his shooting efficiency has been awful. I think I looked at his last 6 games. He's shooting 35% from the field and 16% from 3.
Oh, that's terrible.
And he's averaging like 5 turnovers a game. This is a guy who, I mean, almost averaged a triple-double with San Antonio.
Yeah.
And he can get it going. I mean, I'm not saying DeJounte Murray's a scrub. He's nice
not.
like that, but I don't know if him and Trey.
It's a weird fit.
It's a weird fit. It's only the first year, so maybe they'll figure it out in the offseason. But I think they have a lot of pieces there. Losing Kevin Huerter was kind of interesting because that was a good shooter for them.
Yeah.
Now it's like DeAndre Hunter is their shooter.
I do like their Sadiq Bey acquisition. They didn't give up
Sadiq
anything.
Bey was,
to get him.
he was
I
good.
mean, that's a cool
Right.
acquisition.
So they're young. They're going to be good. And then the other team I want to pick a bone is the Raptors. I was high on the Raptors going into this year. OG Anunoby having one of the best defensive seasons. I mean, he's been locks. He was leading steals for a long time.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet has been a great point guard for the last few years. Scotty Barnes, who just won Rookie of the Year. Even Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, who I think was a sneaky find from the Spurs. But they're 4 games under 500, and they've lost 4 straight. And I'm just surprised because they have a lot of 3-and-D prototypical guys who should be good, but they're just not figuring it out. And they're the 9 seed in the East right now.
I think that team gets blown up in the offseason. I think the only person that stays on that team in the offseason is probably Scotty Barnes. I mean, they'll probably re-sign Poeltl too because they traded for him. But Scotty, out of those guys,
Siakam and Van Fleet are gone.
well, Van Vliet's a free agent. I think he'll walk.
I think Van Fleet will
and
walk.
then I think if that happens and they see the team around, trade Siakam and get some assets. Why not? I mean, just go into the rebuild. I know Masai Ujiri's not really one for a rebuild. He's more of a retooler, but at some point you do have to pull the cord.
They could. I think
I'm
they
just
still could
trying to think of
retool.
the trade package you can get some Siakam.
I don't have a
He's one of the
package
most
off the top of my
consistent players in
head.
the league.
Yeah,
I don't think Siakam leaves. I think
Super
he stays.
underrated.
Yeah,
Like,
very
I don't know.
underrated.
Yeah.
And so it looks like we have 3 like substantial teams in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
no
you
doubt.
can add the Cavs in there as well, but it's
Yeah.
definitely Milwaukee.
The Knicks
Boston,
can make some
Philly.
noise. They've been.
The Knicks can make some noise.
They
That's
play
true.
hard.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Knicks. They play hard.
They'll play hard. They may push it to a 5-game season.
I think it'll come down to experience.
When I think of the Knicks, I kind of think of Miami this year because Miami's always a good team, and then they just play hard. Like that's their entire personality of the team. They just play hard. That's what I see out of the Knicks right now. And then they got Brunson. He's a born, purified winner. Great leader. So they can mess around and make some noise. But I'm with you guys. Top 3 is going to be the Bucks, Celtics, and Philly. I got Philly coming out on top.
Okay.
Just because I'm a Harden guy, so that's always going to be a bias.
I ain't mad at
Let's
it.
get that one out the way, right? And then statistically, one guy leads the league in assists, other guy leads the league in points, and defensively, they're legit.
Oh yeah.
They're really legit.
They have some nice complementary pieces too.
Exactly.
PJ Tucker, not Shake Milton.
That was a great pickup. I felt
D'Anthony
like
Melton
they
was
made
my
that.
favorite pickup. They gave up nothing to get
Tyrese
him.
Maxey's averaging 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming off the bench.
yeah.
I think their only issue is Tobias Harris. They get that money off, and
Man,
then they can turn that into
I'm
2 players.
shocked how Tobias Harris has been on that team for so long with
I
the
know.
money he's making.
That money,
It just
that
baffles
deal
me.
is Crazy to
It's
me.
been year after year. I'm like, this guy's still on the roster. He's gonna average 15 points.
You know how many rumors I heard about him going to the Kings for like 2 years before this season? Oh my god.
Just a Harrison Barnes 2.0.
Yeah, pretty much. We're gonna trade Harrison Barnes for him.
All right, going to the West.
Ooh boy.
So this is where we might differ a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really like the Nuggets this year. Obviously, they're the number 1 seed. But I think there are Blake muttering over there.
Frauds.
I think a lot of teams in the West are frauds. I think it's wide open.
No,
really.
the West is wide
The
open.
West
It's
is very
wide open.
open.
Like this could be a straight March Madness. Like
I
no
don't
one
think they're
knows.
all frauds though. I think
They're not
actually
frauds.
all legit.
Frauds is the wrong word. They're legit. It's not all legit, but
I feel like the top 6 teams in the West can
Sure.
give a run for the money for the top 3 teams in the East.
I think the top 6 teams can go. Either one of those teams can walk into the finals against a Boston, a Milwaukee,
Someone has to.
I mean, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Those 6 teams, though, it can be any one of those teams, though. I don't think there's any
Right.
clear favorites or anything like that.
I think health is a big thing here. The Suns with Kevin Durant are definitely a favorite.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. I mean, KD is one of those guys where like if he's healthy for game 1 of the playoffs, I'm picking them
It's
because
curtain.
you
Almost.
just plug him
It's
in.
over.
You just plug him in. He's the best player on that team.
He is
so.
the easiest player to play with.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think and also he comes back, that's the team I got going to the finals. Now I don't think they're gonna win because I still have Boston, but he comes back healthy is bad for the rest, for the rest of the West. I would also say Golden State. I'm biased here because I'm a Golden State fan, but also the Steph.
They do it.
Yeah, it's a very tough team. And then you can put Denver in there as well just because they have Jokic, and the team isn't badly constructed either. And then with Memphis, when Ja gets it together, because I feel like he will, definitely gonna be able to make some noise too. Not so sure if they're gonna be able to stay consistent because of what happened to them this season. Sacramento's definitely in it because they're number 3. With that team, I think it'll come down to experience. I'm not so sure if they're going to be able to get over the hump of beating.
I mean, they're the least experienced team
Yeah.
out of even if they don't make the top 6. They're the least experienced team in that top 6 by a mile. I mean,
Yeah, and then you have the Clippers. I don't trust the Clippers.
it goes back to what Cam was saying,
Health-wise,
that's the health.
but
thing
also
for me.
when you have your 2 best players miss that many games, you lose chemistry with the team. Now, I'm not saying
And they had a bunch of acquisitions at the deadline too.
Exactly.
So,
I don't know. Yeah, Kawhi and PG can definitely ball. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't know. They're very unknown right now. And then Minnesota and Dallas round out the 7th and the 8th seed. Dallas being in the 8th seed right now concerns me. But then again, they're only a few games back, so I feel like they can get it together. But
Then you get Luka healthy.
Luka and Curry haven't been what we thought they were.
I thought it was gonna be scary.
I thought it was gonna be scary too.
I was not a huge fan of it.
Scary hours.
But I think this is if Kyrie stays for another year, they're going to be really good next year. It's just tough to, unless your name's Kevin Durant, you can't really plug in a superstar like that and just be like, all right, you guys go win us the
figure it out,
championship.
yeah.
Especially 2 guards, a backcourt where they're both ball dominant.
Yeah.
It's similar with the Hawks and DeJounte Murray and Trae Young.
Yeah.
It's going to take time to figure it out. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, not either.
I agree with that.
Your teams out of the West?
I got the Phoenix and Golden State.
I don't know.
Go ahead,
man.
bring up that team you're talking about in the room. I'm waiting.
What, the Lake Show?
Talk about them a little
yeah.
bit.
We can definitely talk about
LeBron
You
the
can talk
playoff,
about
dog. Don't ever doubt LeBron the playoffs.
No, I'm not. I was just
If
been
he
waiting.
comes back,
No.
I'm still not. Lakers in it.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Like I said before we started shooting, I feel like there's 2 teams in the NBA that nobody wants to play against, and that's the Lakers and the Warriors.
I couldn't
And that's
agree
because
more.
in the 7-game series, we just look at the track records of both.
I agree.
They're hard to beat.
I think I don't want to stir anything here. I'd be more scared of the Lakers.
Then Golden State.
If LeBron is healthy and AD, yeah, that new team is nice. I can't
Clip it.
I can't
Yeah.
say anything.
Yeah, we got-
clip
yeah,
it. Go
for sure.
ahead.
That's crazy.
That new
I'm sorry.
We
team.
might play each other in the first round, so it'll be
Oh,
interesting.
that'd be a killer first round. That'd be awesome.
I don't-
That's a
yeah.
7-game series.
Yeah, maybe.
No, that's
It's
a
definitely
7-game
going to be
series.
interesting to see
It's
what the
gonna be-
Suns could do, though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's what I'm
See what
excited
the
for.
Suns
I
yeah.
think
do.
the Suns are the most
I
probably.
don't really have too much faith in the Mavs. I've never really had too much faith in the Mavs. I feel like defensively, they're not ready.
There is
No,
no
they're
defense.
far
There's zero
off.
defense.
They
Yeah.
can put
Yeah.
an offensive show all day long, but we've seen that doesn't work. We've seen it in Brooklyn. We've seen it in Houston. We've seen plenty of spots where the offense don't work. You need defense to win championships.
And they traded their best defensive player for Kyrie Irving,
And-
technically.
That was my next point, right? So if the Suns got Mikal Bridges, championship team, team
I
by
agree.
far,
Yeah.
easily the favorites.
With Durant? Are you talking about with Durant?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
they traded someone else
yeah.
besides
I agree.
Mikal
So
Bridges.
Oh,
if
my
they
God.
were
Yeah.
able to keep
Oh.
Bridges, right, and
Oh,
then make
yeah.
all the same acquisitions,
Yeah,
that's
no.
by far my favorites.
Oh, they're
But
leaps
losing
and
that
bounds.
piece, he's such an important piece defensively, offensively,
Right.
just energy wise. And then think about this: Mikal Bridges, I don't think he ever missed an NBA game.
No.
Maybe one.
He's missed only one.
He only missed one because of the trade.
Because of the
That's
trade.
right.
That's
Him
why
and
he
Looney-
made his number 1, I believe.
Number one.
Yeah,
that's
him
why.
and Looney have the most games played
Yeah.
in
Looney
the
did a
last
single
4
game last
seasons,
year.
whatever.
So
Yeah,
just think about that. That's consistency.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
That's yeah.
I feel like that was the one piece that, and I know Phoenix wanted to hold on to him. I know
Oh,
they did,
yeah.
but that
Yeah.
was the one piece that made the trade
Yeah.
not completely lopsided.
But for me too, like as a fan, like I agree. They should, if they could have kept him, they could have. They probably couldn't have, and that would have been obviously hands down the favorites. But I mean, we're seeing him flourish now. Like it's a
Yes.
nice sight to see. Like I I wasn't expecting him to do what he's doing. I have my best friend's a diehard Suns fan. He loves Mikal Bridges, and he was sad about it. I mean, for a little bit, but he is flourishing in Brooklyn, and that is awesome to watch. As a fan, that's cool to see and watch. I mean, the celebrations. I mean, they're still top 5 seed. I mean, they're about to get 40 wins. I mean, he is flourishing, and that's good for his career. But man, if he would have stayed, that's instantly a championship team.
Brooklyn got so much younger with Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie. They got 4 players from just their 2 superstars, which could set them up for the future for sure.
And the draft assets, 5 total first-round picks.
Right, yeah, so many first-round picks. If the Suns and the Mavericks don't win a championship within the next few years, I mean, they're going to look back and really regret this because Brooklyn's done this before. They've sent 3 first-round picks to the Celtics for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
They kind of went in their favor.
That was horrible.
Tatum and Brown was the end result.
Yeah,
so.
And Brooklyn never did anything. I mean, Paul Pierce left after that season. He went to Washington.
They're on their decline.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think of the Cam Thomas situation where the guy drops 40 piece back to back and then did not plays?
Yeah,
that was sad.
It's a little interesting.
He should still be in the league.
Dude should be a starter,
right?
No, he's
there. He's just not getting run.
He's just not getting enough.
It was
time.
like 2 weeks ago he dropped.
Yeah, I remember he
like
dropped on a 40-point game.
Yeah.
Right, you had him on your fantasy team.
I did. I picked him up at the right time, dropped him at the right time. But
actually
I don't
did.
get it.
Is he playing as much? I don't know. I haven't been watching Brooklyn, so I don't know.
No.
Is he not playing as much, or like,
He
what's
got
going
a few
on?
did not plays, and then he had a few other games where he played like 3 minutes.
It might be something with
his minutes
like
are just
the
inconsistent.
coach and just him. Maybe he might be something like ego type of
Like a Bones
I don't
Highland
know.
situation.
I mean, there's definitely something going on, but
I don't like it.
I'm just trying to make sense of it. Like, in what world do we witness a guy back-to-back games, 3 back-to-back games, though, 40 piece? There's not no regular 20-piece game. Like, yeah, he's having a good game.
And he's dropping, 40. And he's not just dropping, like, he's dropping 40 pieces, but he's dropping, like, 45, 40. I think his best one was 47. I mean, he's not just barely getting to 40. I mean, he's almost eclipsing 50.
Yeah,
Mind you, I don't think they won in any of these games, and that may play a role into it, but still, like, to not play.
No, the one where he blew up for 47, they won. That was his best game. That's the only one they won.
You can do this against any team in the NBA. It doesn't matter. It's still very impressive.
No, it is.
You can do this against the Rockets, the top 3 bottom teams in the league. It doesn't matter. To drop 40 in the NBA 3 times back to back to back is crazy.
Yeah, and he should be starting. It's not even like his playing time. The guy should be in the lineup. I mean, Brooklyn's not. They're not really trying to compete. Throw him in there. They can't compete now. Yeah, they can't compete now. Throw him in. I mean, they are a top 5 seed right now, but I mean, what are they really gonna do? I mean,
the second they see somebody of like true.
They're getting swept.
They're getting either swept or the gentleman's sweep.
That's what I'm saying. So like, why not throw him in there with Bridges, build that chemistry up? Not Cam Thomas, who's Cameron Johnson.
At least build the trade value up. And
build
something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Build him up so they can ship him off.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like so he had 44, 47, 43, and 20. In that game that he dropped 20, he went 3 for 16 from the field. And then the next game he went 7 for 12, 14 points. 7 points, 19 points, 22 points, 2 points, 5, 15, 0, 4. So, yeah, you've seen a decline.
Yeah.
His shooting percentage has declined a little bit. He had an 0 for 7 game, 2 for 8 game, but also not getting the same attempts that he was before. I think because, Bridges and Cameron Johnson have come in.
Yeah.
That definitely played a role.
But Cam Thomas has shown a lot of he's 21 years old.
Oh my God, is that it?
Yeah. He's 21 years old.
Oh,
he's from Japan.
I knew he was very young.
I didn't know he was that young. I thought he was like 23, 24. Wow.
Yeah. He was born in 2000.
Get him out of there then if they're not going to play him. Like, no disrespect.
Right, don't Cam Reddish, my guy.
Oh, I know.
Man.
That poor
Cam
guy.
Reddish
Look at him in Portland.
He's playing well.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
He's finally getting his shot. That was my guy, Cam Reddish.
I liked him out of Duke.
He was my favorite. To me, he was the best player on that Duke team.
Markelle Fultz.
I think he was better than Zion on that team.
Markelle Fultz, yeah.
Markelle Fultz.
The Magic and the Blazers are the rehab centers or something.
Yeah. I also do think, too, like you said, I agree. I think he was the better player on the Duke team. I think he should have got drafted before RJ Barrett in that draft, too.
Cam Reddish?
Yeah, I mean, I think he only went a few. Barrett went a few picks before him, but I still would have said Cam Reddish just because of the wing dynamic and stuff like that.
I thought Cam Reddish was a better shooter. He was a better shooter.
Well, for sure.
Yeah,
both of those players were.
I think RJ Barrett was the bigger prospect. He was, I think he was like the #1 high school, he's from Canada. He was a big prospect. He was the bigger prospect at Duke, I want to say. But yeah, I think you could argue that Cam Reddish's talents would like fit better in the NBA going into that draft.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
And well, RJ Barrett's had an interesting career. Anyway, before we get way off topic, so our favorite side of the West. I didn't really hear any Grizzlies.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Clippers are a maybe because I mean Kawhi and PG haven't played well together.
Shaky.
But we also know the Terminator can turn on in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Timberwolves not good. Mavericks not going to get it done. The Lakers, Zays.
They can if they have LeBron, I think.
There's potential there. I can't stand the Lakers, but I can admit there's potential there.
They can make some noise if LeBron and AD are healthy and playing
Definitely
together.
make some noise.
Yeah,
That bench has definitely got a much needed retool.
they definitely
D'Angelo Russell
Rob
is balling
Pelinka made some really good
out.
moves. I can't lie. Made some really good moves.
D'Lo is balling.
Despite the D'Lo move, though, I think Vanderbilt was the hidden gem.
Vanderbilt was.
That
For sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
not only like I knew the kind of player he was because I pay a lot more attention to the NBA than other sports, but like for what I thought they'd have to give up a little extra to get him, and they really didn't. They got
Yeah.
him and Beasley for Westbrook in one pick. I mean,
It was bizarre.
That was bizarre, but I
Yeah.
mean that's a good find if you're the Lakers
Right.
team, and I think he's under the age of 25. I think he's only like 23, 24.
He's super young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
Lengthy.
perfect energy, rebounding.
Yeah.
He's going to play defense.
Perfect role for the Lakers.
Totally.
He is.
That's
I got
the
an
energy they're
opportunity
missing.
to play. To watch him play against the Warriors out here in the new Chase Center, right?
Right, he played well.
And just watching him play in person, you could just see all the effort he gives on
Yep.
both
Yeah.
sides, and he's incredible to watch. Like I was going home and I was like, dang, Vanderbilt really went crazy.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
didn't have no points.
Right. He's
Yeah.
not going to fill up the stats. He's going to give you 8 rebounds, a
Yeah.
couple
8
steals.
rebounds,
Yeah.
like monumental plays. That
Right.
I feel like that's exactly what the Lakers.
He's going to rotate over on
Yeah.
defense.
I
and
even
help
thought it was a
AD.
little crazy when Minnesota gave him up in that Rudy Gobert deal. I was like,
That was, yeah.
I was
know.
like, that's a little too much. I mean, I know they had to give up the picks, and then they gave up Walker Kessler too. I mean, I'm sure nobody really knew what he was going to turn out to be, but when I saw Vanderbilt's name in there, I was like, really, him too?
Mhm.
Like that's a lot. And for Rudy Gobert in general, that was just way too much.
Right. All right, last topic that we're going to go on the fly. Tank for Victor. Who's going to get Victor Wembanyama?
For me, I think the landing spot I want is Charlotte. Him and LaMelo, with LaMelo's healthy, that's fun.
Charlotte is 22 and 48. They are right now, I think they're the 5th worst team in basketball. 4th. So it's Rockets,
That's just
Pistons,
number
with 16 teams or 16 wins, Spurs, and then Hornets. Those are the bottom 4.
Me personally, I would love to see Jalen Green and Victor Wembanyama on the same team.
2. That's my second choice is the Rockets.
I want him on Houston.
I think the Rockets could have, they've had a lot of young pieces building up.
It'll take some years for
That'll
them
be
to
real
like get
fun
it
to
together
watch.
because I mean they're very very young. But I think him with Jalen Green would be insane.
Yeah.
Houston's my team.
I think
Yeah.
he's gonna land with Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah.
I can see
I
that
think he's
too.
gonna land with the Spurs, and honestly, I feel like that might be the best way if they did get an opportunity.
As long as
to get him.
Pop doesn't retire. I don't
if
think
Pop
he will.
doesn't
but-
retire, I don't think he's
Yeah.
not going to retire after this year. He's not going out like that.
No.
I don't think.
Oh no, he's
But
not.
I feel like if they were to get Victor and then get opportunity to develop him in his young years, I feel like they can make a beast.
Oh yeah, they
Instead
can.
of, because we see a lot of teams, they got a nice pick,
Mhm.
throw him to the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Never developed, no nothing.
Yeah. He's got
nothing
and now
around
he's a
him,
bust, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many organizations around the league that don't have developmental programs, and then you got ones like the Warriors.
Yep.
Great developmental programs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Spurs
feel like-
have it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Spurs,
saying. If,
you
they-
know.
Yeah.
if the Spurs are able to get their hands on Victor, I feel like that can be a problem in the future.
And I want to go off of that real quick because Pop's done it before. David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
So I mean, that's
Right.
that's definitely not far fetched for that to actually happen again.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see an all-time great big again because he's under Pop's tutelage.
Yeah.
Say that.
Part of me hopes he doesn't go to Detroit.
Oh,
I
that's
don't want
just,
him in
that's
Detroit.
just a place to rot,
it is.
respectfully. No.
I don't want him in Detroit so bad.
Marvin
As
Bagley,
much
James
as-
Wiseman are the examples.
Yeah, I was gonna say as much as like young talent they already have 3 centers, and this is a team that, yeah, it's just Detroit doesn't really work out. I don't think it's gonna
No.
work out. So that's the one team I don't hope he goes to. If he goes to the Magic, that'll be cool. If he goes to the
Interesting.
Hornets, my hope, my favorite, although this won't happen, I hope he goes to the Pacers.
I don't know about the Magic. The reason why. Oh, the
If you went
Pacers
to
would be
Indiana,
nice.
you could trade Miles Turner or run Miles Turner at the 4.
whoa.
Tyrese Halliburton and Wembanyama.
That's a nasty pick and roll. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about. I mean,
They have the Pacers are 12th in the East. They have 31 wins, and so it's the Blazers are at 31 wins. So they're bottom 7.
that's crazy.
Yeah, they're the 7th worst team in the NBA.
Wow, the Pacers, that would be.
So
scary.
I mean, luck of the draw. They might get something. There's always gonna be trades, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's far down the road, so we'll get to it. So I think that'll be it. For this episode, a lot of good conversations about NFL and NBA, and we'll have to return to it once the NBA playoffs is getting closer and on its way. So that's it from us here on the Solano College Sports Network. On this edition of the Tuesday Swoop, Garrison Glenn, Blake Molina, Zay Randolph, I'm Cameron Anderson, and we will catch you next time.
Stephon Gilmore.